Zion Cemetery is our segregation-era black cemetery that was rediscovered just 6 years ago. This is our opportunity to erect a historic marker denoting the specific location for this 2.5-acre historic cemetery, and also remember the atrocity that took place with the vanishing of this cemetery about 100 years ago.
Zion Cemetery is where a number of our African American and black residents were buried, and those graves were built over and basically disrespected. And so this is a journey that has taken too long to provide the respect that is deserved by these individuals that are buried in this location. And so we want to ensure that they are never forgotten.
You know, this is the family of mankind represented here. And so the one word that we heard over and over and over again a few years ago when we interviewed residents of Robles Park Village was respect. That was the common theme, respect. We need to respect black people alive as well as those who are deceased.
We do know that it's a large number of African American burials that are here, over 800. That represents a large segment of the African American community, really beginning in the early 1900s up through the 1920s.
We can go back to the 1890s and a man named Richard Doby. But in 1901, he purchased the land behind me and dedicated it as the Zion Cemetery. You could say the truth was covered up, if you will, in this cemetery. And there were people who lived here in the early 50s who knew that this had been a cemetery, but yet their voices were silenced. And so the public housing was built in the early 1950s. These buildings have been here ever since, along with some commercial buildings.
And as Black History Month draws to a close, I'm honored to stand with you today to acknowledge a chapter of Tampa's past that was nearly lost, but certainly will never be forgotten. This very site of the Zion Cemetery tells stories of families who built this city, workers who labored to make it thrive, and dreamers who envisioned a better future for their loved ones one day, regardless of the color of their skin. Yet for far too long, the final resting place was overlooked and their names were actually erased from our memory. Today, we are reclaiming those stories.
I, as a former resident, took part in something that I never thought that I would see. As the X-ray machine went through Robles, and every place that there was a body, when it went up like this and went up like that, there was a body. Firsthand, I seen that as a resident.
And when we found out about it, we made a decision that we got to do something about that. It is history. We cannot afford to let something like that just get swept under the rug.
I come here this morning as a part of remembering and representing. Remembering our loved one whose remains are interred there, and representing those whom I don't know and you don't know, but whom also need to be remembered. There are hundreds of them over there, and I can't tell you about them, but I can tell you about ours. Anna Rebecca Weish. I did not know about her until I started doing my family history research. Anna was born into slavery in 1839. So she endured slavery for 26 years. Her grave has been desecrated for about 100 years. Anna was a cook. She was a wife, a mother of 11 children, and she was poor. Anna died in 1912. We appreciate all of you here to help us remember ours. But I want to let you know there are about 799 others who also are there. And you need to take a look at the names you will probably recognize your own.
Well, the research process was incredible. From Ray Reed, who first found the death certificates with the name Zion Cemetery on it, to my own role of finding the plat that had Zion and to help us find the location for it. And then, of course, the archaeologists who did the ground penetrating radar, then all members of the community coming forward with stories and information. It was a really kind of community-wide effort to rediscover Zion and now commemorate it as what it is, a cemetery.
The work that has been done to uncover and restore the legacy of Zion Cemetery is a testament to what is possible when a community comes together. Historians, journalists, advocates, leaders, determined to shine a light where darkness once prevailed.
It was imperative to me to push the state of Florida to make some commitment to helping organizations like this nonprofit. And I'm so grateful that in 2023, we unanimously got a bill passed that dedicated $1 million to helping nonprofits like the Zion Preservation Society and others around the state. And you might ask, in this current political climate, how is that possible? And I'll tell you how. It's because everybody, regardless of their race, their creed, their religion, their gender identity, they understand heritage and they understand the importance of honoring and having sanctity for the dead.
We're recognizing that this is sacred ground and those bodies are still here and they need to be recognized because they don't have a voice and we have to be their voice.
Now, therefore, it is resolved that the Tampa Housing Authority hereby proclaims a commitment to preserve the scarce nature of Zion Cemetery, donating the land, uncovering the facts, restoring the cemetery, educating the community. Be the fourth resolved that the Tampa Housing Authority acknowledges its responsibility to ensure that past and just are confronted with history and meaningful actions, demonstrating the agency's enduring commitment to equality, justice, and the community empowerment. It is within the Tampa Housing Authority does hereby set forth this proclamation to honor the legacy of Zion Cemetery, express our agency's full support for its restoration.
People are buried here. And so that's why we have the funeral carriage, and we had a family following it for a funeral cortege to really impress upon people that we're still talking about deceased individuals who are buried here. Not just moving buildings, not just uncovering, but that people are buried here.
I don't know that you can ever bring closure to the kind of a loss that a person feels when they don't have a grave to visit and a place to call a final resting place. But to the degree that we can give dignity and some measure of solace to the families of the people who are buried without markers throughout our community, this is one way that we can do that.
The property that is in question right now is where I bought my first bedroom suite when I got married 50 years ago. The Lord took me to buy this property because I'm the right person, because I'm going to make sure that it's restored back and we remember those, unfortunately, that are buried there without markers.
Now therefore I, Jane Castor, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Tampa, Florida, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, February 26, 2025 as Zion Cemetery Historical Marker Dedication Day in the city of Tampa, and urge all residents to join me in thanking those involved in ensuring those who paved the way for us may rest in peace, and in paying tribute to those who have served our city, state, and nation. By placing this marker, we are ensuring that Zion Cemetery will never again be hidden in the shadows. We honor the truth, we are restoring the dignity, and we commit to preserving this history for generations to come.